why is America so fat?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just the obesogenic environment that we live in, right? You know, you go on your phone. There's a DoorDash app advertisement everywhere. You go sit down for the movies. You can't get fucking 5 minutes into a movie without seeing a DoorDash ad. Okay, so it's like we're such a food-centric society, and when you take a society that previously was in periods of famine and starvation, and you give them access to fucking DoorDash, Uber Eats, and all this stuff, I mean, no kidding, right? We're gonna muck down all we can, and that's just kind of how it works, man. I mean, you can't even turn the corner without seeing a McDonald's. You know,
Yeah.
Look at.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if you even think about it for 1 second, when I was on bodybuilding prep, I really noticed this a lot. You know, because you get very food focused, and every single time you sit down, you notice like 80% of the ads, they're fucking food ads. 80% of the time. So it just shows you how food centric as a society we are, and how much we kind of love food. And yeah, I mean, it goes to show, you know.
And on top of that, everything that we eat is so like, how do you say, calorically dense. Like there's so many calories inside of this thing, but the nutrients aren't really the most useful, I suppose.
It's
Like
really
a McDonald's cheeseburger. Yeah, exactly. It's just very tasty.
It's really good.
Super dense. You eat 20 of those and you're gonna be like, I could eat 20 more.
Dude.
But
it's great.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous stuff. Do you think that there's anything to the, well, I went to Europe and I ate their grains and I lost all this weight. It's like that thing, how people go, well, in America, our food is so terrible. When I go to Europe, I eat pizza and pasta all day and I lose weight. What's up with that?
Yeah, so that's a common argument that people make when they try to compare and contrast two different countries. And they try to argue that the European Food Safety Authority, whatever, they're more strict, more regulation. And technically they are, because we kind of operate based on this principle where it's like I guess we have a more laxed, quote unquote, principle. We incorporate things in different ways. So from my understanding, they're kind of like, they need sufficient, really solid, like rigorous human trials or whatever, and we're just kind of like, okay, there's no sufficient evidence that this causes harm. We have enough, whereas they're kind of like, it needs to be true, tried and tested, whatever, for a long period of time. But it has its ups and downs. There's pros and cons to this, right? The thing is with Europe, you know, we just look at its society as a whole, and we know that, you know, walking is good for digestion. It's very good for digestion. The abdominal muscles contract, right? So digest the food. It increases movement in the GI tract. And in Europe, you walk a lot. It's not really a driving-centric place. And also, shit's really kind of close together, so you can walk wherever you want. You take the subway, the public transport's really good. You're walking more. And then also, portion sizes are a little bit smaller, too, in Europe as well. And in America, I mean, here's the thing. People will say, oh, I can eat bread in Europe and not here. It's still the same thing, right? We still they still strip the bran and germ from the wheat, right? It's the same thing. It's just there's different sources of wheat. And typically in Europe, they use wheat with less gluten. There's different types of wheat you can source it from. Their sourcing is just less gluten in it. So that's really it. But, you know, as far as the whole ingredient thing, there's plenty of ingredients that we have banned that Europe doesn't. So the argument doesn't hold up. When you look at it that way, it's like, oh, the argument doesn't really hold up. But when you just look at society as a whole and their perspectives on food, what they'll do is they sit down, they actually enjoy a meal. They don't binge drink. They just enjoy it. They might have a drink every once in a while, but they just sit there and enjoy it. They don't fucking take 20 shots of vodka and get blackout wasted, right?
Yes.
So you look at the culture. It's cultural differences, not necessarily just food quality. It's how we behave.
That makes sense to me. That makes a lot of sense to me, just because, you know, you're walking a lot, portion sizes are smaller. Perhaps you know the person or persons that you got this meat from or whatever ingredient from. Things seem to be sourced from a smaller footprint of land, because you're like, oh yeah, that's the farm where this bread came from, as opposed to I got it from Walmart, right? Which like you said, it's all the same stuff, maybe a little bit less gluten, but at the end of the day, it's pretty similar. On this sort of diet fad situation, all these Paul Saladino type guys, what do you think about seed oils, Red 40? All this kind of biohacking. You got to avoid the polyester underwear. all that shit.
I think it's majoring the minors. You know, I think we have to focus on the grand scheme of things, and we have to focus on losing weight, moving more, right? How do we do this sustainable and make sustainable changes to do these things? And we focus on seed oils, Red 40, all this kind of stuff. Okay, food dyes we don't have enough research on. So truly, you know, people say they cause ADHD. There's all the evidence we have is correlational. We don't, honestly, I wouldn't even be able to say they don't, and I can't say they can because there's not sufficient evidence to draw a conclusion. So anyone making bold claims on the internet that they're saying like, oh, food dyes cause cancer, you can't say that. I don't know if they do. I don't know if they don't. And from right now where we're speaking, we just can't draw that conclusion that confidently. We can't make that statement.
Right.
And I honestly don't think of any metabolic pathway that these food dyes can really trigger cancer. It doesn't really make sense to me. You know, and there just needs to be more evidence before we can draw a crazy conclusion like that. And as far as seed oils go, it's all theoretical, right? People they look at what happens in a test tube isolated from actual living circumstances, like in vivo, right? And they put it in a test tube and they go, okay, well, like this is in vitro, so it's not really in a human being. We'll just kind of see what happens. And of course, you're going to get different results because you're taking something outside of its homeostatic environment, right? You're taking a tissue, put it in a fucking test tube. Of course, something's going to happen. But really, when we look at the studies, if seed oils were as bad as people said they were, every meta-analysis that we have, they wouldn't say that seed oils are fine. They wouldn't. When we look at all the long-term evidence, there's no negative health effects of seed oils. People claim linoleic acid causes inflammation, right? Doesn't make any sense because LA doesn't increase any inflammatory markers, and there's plenty of meta-analyses and studies on this. I don't even know I don't know them off the top of my head, but I'm sure if a viewer wants to go research them, there's just no evidence to support that they do. So we can look at the mechanisms and proposed ideas of how they would cause inflammation. First off, my first question is what's inflamed, right? Like how specifically we're measuring inflammation, and it doesn't happen. And if it were true, then we'd see this. It would show up in the data. In the actual
people think that big seed oil is coming to get you with all these fake studies.
I know, right? Yeah. I mean, the one argument too is like it goes rancid, you know, when you cook it or whatever. And that's like a deep frying thing. But ultimately, here's my question to these people is, okay, so changing the fucking food, changing whatever fry oil we use, whether it's beef tallow, beef fat, or olive oil or vegetable oil blend, is it going to make us healthier? Stop eating fried foods. Can we just limit that? And people say, oh, they break down into like cancerous, they oxidize into cancerous byproducts, everything like that. Okay, fine. Whenever if you heat something, even beef tallow, if you use it long enough, it can oxidize. It just has a higher smoke point, so it has a higher temp. But still, not many of us are eating fried foods. I don't really eat fried foods. Not a concern. You know.
You sent me I think it was like the reverse food pyramid or something. It was basically what we need to be worrying about, and at the top was like the shit that we really don't need to be worrying about, and at the bottom was like eat a little less, more healthy, and move more. And for a lot of people, that's just flipped right upside down. It's
exactly.
It's a little ridiculous, man. Like people won't be working out and they won't be eating healthy, but they'll be like, actually, I don't do seed oils, and I don't wear polyester underwear, and it's like that's cool. I don't wear
polyester, you know. I sun my balls. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like let's move the ball forward as much as we can, and then we go to like the little knickknacks. It's like, well, yeah, I do the red light therapy in the morning. Yeah, it's like, okay, dude, that's amazing, but let's move more. Yeah, exactly. Like let's move more and eat a little less. That seems to be the real formula for, you know, getting into better shape is just eat a little less and move a little more, especially if you're moving weights, right?
100%. Exactly. And because moving weights increases the metabolic activity of muscle tissue. So it increases your resting energy expenditure even when you're resting. So it's like, we should be lifting weights, right? Increase your metabolism per se.
Do you think that everybody should be lifting weights? Do you think it could benefit everyone?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think everyone should do strength training. I mean, we look at populations when we get older, bone mineral density decreases. It's just so many benefits to lifting weights. I think everyone should be doing it. It really is a healthy activity or some sort of high impact exercise, right? I think lifting weights is great because you can't really replicate those high joint reaction forces elsewhere. But there's still plenty of, you can do plyos, but everyone should be doing some sort of high intensity, high stress, high force movement, wherever it is, because we need that. We truly do. I mean, the increase of hip fractures, you could die from a hip fracture at fucking 60, right? Scary stuff. So you got to fight that. And the pro is, people say like, oh, lifting sense growth, not true. But I think that even young individuals should be lifting weights, because here's the thing, right? Bone mineral density, how it works, it usually peaks. It reaches its peak around 20-something years old or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Differently in men and women. And then from there, it decreases, okay? So you reach your peak, and it decreases. Think about it like a bank. The higher we get this bank, the higher cash we get this bank, the more we have to spend, okay? You basically have a cushion. This is particularly important in female demographics populations, because we know that during menopause, because of the hormone fluctuations, bone mineral density takes a substantial hit. If you have more cushion in the bank, you're in a better spot. So that's kind of the methodology behind it. I think everyone should be lifting. And I think lifting is great activity. You don't even need to go all out. Even one workout a week, substantial health benefits. Substantial. Even one lifting session, 45 minutes, that's all. That's literally it.
Something is better than nothing in that
Exactly.
department.
Exactly. But then you'll have people who are like, oh, yeah, brother, I need to do 6 times. It doesn't make any sense. You know?
I go to war in the gym, brother.
I go to war in the gym.
So what would you say to someone that has never really been into lifting, and they see this weird they have this weird magnifying glass into gym culture because of social media, and they go, well, there's all these kids setting up these straps around their chests, and they're trying to get the perfect the perfect squeeze or whatever, and there's these guys that are doing muscle ups and jumping off fucking bars and shit. That doesn't look like the place I want to go. That doesn't look, that looks a little toxic to me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that social media represents a very small subset of the population. You go to your local gym, you're not going to see anyone really doing that, you know? I mean, I guess it depends on where you're going to, but like you go to your local Planet Fitness, you're not going to be seeing that kind of stuff. With the overall science-based folks that do these highly stable, they're focused on stability and fucking cuffs and all this stuff, that's an extremely small demographic of lifting. However, social media is blown it out of proportion, and you have a very, very radicalized subset of individuals, and they get a lot of attention because they say controversial statements. They speak in absolutes. When you speak in absolutes, you attract attention.
I've seen you and I forget this guy's name. I think it's Runvis or something.
You have Garrett, yeah.
Dude, he's so fucking funny, man. Every single time I see someone, they have like 3 straps on their chest, 2 on their arms, and they're just doing like tricep extensions or something. And he's like, dude, you'd literally be more stable if you just did both hands. Yeah, at the same time. It's very funny. But I think what you just said, social media represents a very, very small subset of people. It would be useful for our generation especially to remember that. Because a lot of people see like, oh, there's fucking 14-year-olds that are rich driving Lambos in Miami. Oh my God, I'm never going to amount to anything, that kind of a deal. Yeah. But it's like, again, very small subset of individuals. My next question was actually, what do you think about the science-based lifting community?
Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself science-based someday in the respect that I look at the research. I look at all the available research. And then, well, now it's been much less because I'm more focused on my business and serving clients, et cetera. I mean, clients are going to care more about you checking in with them midweek than knowing the internal moment-arm data of the fucking latissimus dorsi muscle. I mean, come on. You know, they care more about that. Hey, man, I saw you log this weight. You know, how you doing? Stuff like that. They care about actually you showing care as a coach. That's what I try to do. So I don't have as much time for that anymore, but I still look at it. I still try to stay updated. I stay on top of my education. But I think I'm science-based in the respect that I don't make absolute statements. I realize that things aren't always what they seem, and that nothing in science is ever proven, okay? So it's like, it's always an updating field, okay? You can't like prove something. It's always out there. It's testing the waters. I mean, we never know, right? So it's always, science is a constantly evolving field, and that's kind of how I view it as. But people now are kind of like idea-based. It's not even science-based, it's idea-based. So they take a principle, they take a small subset of science, and they make their whole lifting approach on it, and they refuse to try any other ideologies or any other principles, when that's just not necessarily how it should be done. Now, I agree. Like, I think the 5 to 10 rep range, you know this because of how I program for you, the 5 to 10 rep range is kind of where we want to be, because the effective reps model states that reps, where you have a high amount of mechanical tension is just, think internal fiber forces. So if you have like a rope, it's the tension on the rope. It's how hard you're pulling on that rope. So we have a bunch of muscle fibers. Mechanical tension is the internal fiber forces. At slower speeds, there's higher amounts. Okay? Reason being, because you got to think about think about it like Velcro, right? If you slap it together and do this really quick, it's not going to stick. Slowly, if you really press and firm onto it, it's going to stick more. It's going to be harder to pull apart. You think about it like that, because you have these little filaments in there that bind. The slower you go, the more efficient they can be at doing this kind of thing. When you go quicker, it's like this. They're just they're touching. slower, it's like this. They're actually binding and pulling. And then this can only work though if you have, because think about it like this. Okay, I just said mechanical tension, right? I explained this kind of thing to you. But that means, okay, if I curl a 5-pound dumbbell very slow, yeah, great, this high tension, cool, but you're not going to see growth from that. Reason being is that the way we measure tension is on the fiber level, the individual fibers. So yes, there's high tension, but only a small amount of those fibers are experiencing that force, are undergoing that. So we need all of them. We need all those puppies. So this is why the only reps, quote unquote, that really build a large or that provide a significant degree of hypertrophy stimulus would be the ones near the end of the set, where you're involuntarily going slower because you can't push as hard, which tells us that all the fibers have to be turned on because it's a maximal effort bout, right? So I'm science-based in the respect that I believe in these things, but I'm open to other training methodologies, right? So I program the 5 to 10 rep range. If someone wants to do 15 reps, I'm like, fine. I don't care. Do 15 reps. Doesn't fucking matter. You can do what you want to do. But I don't like the hyper-specific focus on stability and bracing to the point where we lose the concept. I mean, do we really need beginner lifters to be doing these unilateral every single like 35 like full body sessions? No. Like full body, like we don't need to be doing brachioradialis fucking curls here. We don't need to be worried about biasing the long head of the triceps when we have no tricep musculature development to begin with, you know? It's like, well, how do I bias the medial head of my tricep? I feel like I'm like, dude, you don't have a tricep. I'm not seeing it. It's not there. So why don't we get that up there first? Then we can focus on these things, right? And that's really when it applies. Is I would only use these techniques with like pretty up there lifters, already strong guys, right? Beginners, do a lat pull down, right? Keep your sessions simple. You can't even activate that many fibers in the first place because you're not coordinated enough. You're not efficient enough at your movement. So like, just keep it simple, man. You don't have to do 15 exercises to bias a different, like, what are we doing wrist flexion for? What the hell's going on? I'm so confused. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to me.
It's similar to the food pyramid you showed me. We're gonna throw that up on the screen, but it's like all of the shit that you should worry about down here, all of the shit that you do not need to worry about until you're like super advanced is up there. Yeah. And it's like I need to get the proper amount of wrist flexion, and I need to make sure that my it's.
Well, I need to make
sure
I'm training my lats in the proper leverage to basically. And I'm like, dude, come on, guys. Can we just fucking lift some weights and train hard? Like, you don't need to be worrying about fatigue that much if you're a beginner lifter. If you're structuring your sessions, and most of these guys, they're already doing low volumes. So what I mean by low volumes, and to me, this is my volumes. I like to train. It's 4 to around 12 sets a week per muscle group maximum, spaced out throughout the week within 2 to 3 sessions. So you're spacing these sets out, spacing this volume out. Now, I consider this to be moderate volume, but as a beginner, we don't need to be worrying that much about fatigue, about the fatigue that's accumulating in these sessions, right? So, like, let's stop worrying about taking sets to not taking sets to failure and stuff. Just train hard, use appropriate volumes, and pick somewhat stable exercises, right? That bracing is there. And what I mean by stability is bracing. So, for example, if I were to do a chest supported row, bracing is whatever is there to prevent unnecessary movement. Right, so if I'm doing a chest supported row, I have a force that's pulling me into the ground. If that pad wasn't there, I'd fall straight into the ground like a T-bar. If I take that pad away, now I have to use my erectors, like my glutes, all these different muscles to keep my hips where they're at, and also to keep my spine erect. Now it's taken away from the upper back. Okay, so we want bracing. Yeah, we want to use like a chest support or something like that, but we don't need to have these crazy cuff setups where we're taking out like other muscles, and we can't even do a curl properly anymore or lateral raise. I'm like, come on, guys, just what are we doing, man? Crazy.
How has getting physically stronger changed the way that you feel about yourself?
Oh, wow. Philosophical on me.
A little bit.
I think it's, well, right now I'm not as strong because I'm kind of injured and tired. So much work, right? But that ties back in like fitness is a spectrum, right? So it's going to kind of fluctuate across the lifespan. But I guess getting physically stronger has changed my perspective a little bit. I feel like it's a good feeling, right? Knowing that you're capable and feeling kind of strong as a man, and knowing that you can get stuff done, and knowing that you've been committed to the gym and you're committed to yourself. You just feel healthier, man. Like, you know, you're capable. You're not going to get injured reaching for something in the cabinet. you
Yeah.
know? And you know, when like, you know, someone asks you, hey, can you move this couch? Like, yeah, I can move that couch. Yeah, I can move that couch.
Yeah, it's no, that's actually right. It's a well, number one, if you do you work out in the morning, or is it like an evening thing?
Oh, dude, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's pretty much an evening thing. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. If I used to love to work out in the morning. Now I work out in like the afternoonish around 3. But if you wake up and well, I mean it doesn't really matter what time that you work out, but if you wake up and you do hard things, you're like, "Oh, I've done a hard thing." Now the
yeah.
rest of the day will seem easier sort of by approximation,
Exactly. Yeah, and
right?
that's
And
my
on top of
mindset
the fact
too.
that you look good, so you're like, "Let's go. Let's go."
Let's
I'm
go. Let's do it.
fucking
You look good. You feel good, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
there you go,
exactly.
man. There you
You'll
go.
never regret a workout, man. I'm telling you. And yeah, so I usually start my day with the hardest tasks, like my
Mhm.
work. So I usually start my day with the work. When I feel burnt out, I just can't do it anymore. My mind starts wandering. I start looking and just switching tabs, and I'm not being productive anymore. Then I'll probably take my gym break. Then when I get back from the gym, I'll sit down and work. I'll work some more.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. That's yeah, so that's an interesting sort of breakdown that you just said, because most people would say, well, I start my day with, I do a meditation, and then I take a nice shower, maybe a bath, and and they sort of ramp up into the difficult work. But the more things that you do in between, I think this is like a hormosiism, the more things in between your wake up and your work, the less work you're going to get done.
Exactly.
Like
You're
that's
overcomplicating it.
just the exactly that's just the very simple math. It's like you wake up and then you get to work as fast as you can, you'll get more work done. And then when
Yeah.
you're done, you're done. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Exactly. You wake up, shower, maybe eat a quick breakfast, bang, sit right at the computer. I'm ready. I'm going.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense, man. I like I like the idea of getting most of the difficult tasks for the day done in the morning, because then everything else just is like, oh, well, I already did for some people it's an ice bath. What do you think about ice baths, by the way? Hot cold therapy.
I think it's, if you like it, do it. Right? If you like it, it's not going to harm you, but it's not going to provide any benefit. You know, people will say like,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's a 300% increase in testosterone." Okay, what the hell's going on here? If anything, you're lowering it because you're freezing your testicles when cortisol's high, right? When cortisol's high, it's using the same substrate that's required to make testosterone, so it's using those
Right.
precursors. So anything when cortisol's high, testosterone can be lower. But even then, right? Acute changes in hormones do not do anything. If you like the cold ice bath because it makes you feel good in the morning, be my guest. But if you're doing it for some recovery benefit, absolutely not. Just stop.
Mm.
Just stop. If anything, cold ice therapy actually reduces the hypertrophy stimulus following a workout because that inflammation is needed for anabolic signaling. By getting
Mm.
yourself and shocking yourself into cold water, you're killing that stimulus. So you're basically nerfing your progress if you do a cold ice bath right after a strength training workout. So I'd say if you want to do it in like the morning and space it out, space it out pretty significantly from the workout period for sure. But it doesn't really, no, it's not really helping recovery at all.
That's really interesting that your muscles literally need to, get swole in order for you to, stimulate hypertrophy. And if you jump into an ice bath, it sort of shrinks up. I did my first ice bath like a month or two ago, and when I got out, number one, it was like the hard things sort of effect where I was like, oh, the world is so easy and fun because I was just freezing my ass off for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I it felt like I had it almost felt like I had a pump because my whole body was super tight, and like my skin felt super like tight to my body, and I was like, this is a
Yeah.
really really weird feeling that I've literally never felt before. So it surprises me that there's not many recovery benefits, but it makes sense because what you just said is you kind of need to have this inflammation in your muscle in order to signal what was it, anabolic signaling?
Yeah, it's anabolic. I mean, there's a couple different pathways that I wouldn't memorize exactly. I mean, I know physiology a little bit, but I don't have everything memorized
Mm,
because it's not really what's needed to be a good coach. But does damage, repairing damage, and there's also hypertrophy signaling. So repairing,
gotcha.
actually synthesizing the new myofibrils, right? Whether in series or in parallel.
Hmm.
In series means adding those sarcomeres. Sarcomeres are like the tiny little units of contraction. Adding them like this in a line. Parallel is kind of stacking. So you're making it bigger. Series makes it longer. It's basically how it works.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what we refer to as muscle hypertrophy, right? And damage is like if I smacked your car with a baseball bat and I pulled the dent out of it, it's not making it bigger, it's just fixing the dent. So that's what it is. It's taking these damaged things and just replacing them. That's what it's doing.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
not making anything bigger.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what I like to explain it as. And yeah, so that inflammation response is kind of needed for that anabolic signaling to occur, and by doing that, you're blunting it. Also, like my opinion on ice baths too, it's like morning routines and everything. It's just all overstated. Like if you feel like you need an ice bath, in my opinion, it's like, are you working hard enough? Right? Do we have enough stress in your day to day? Like, come on, guys. When I wake up, my cortisol's already shot up. I got so much work to do. I don't need that fucking ice bath, man. I got too much work to do. So when I see people getting into ice baths because they're like, yeah, man, I need a challenge, brother. I'm like, nah, I mean, I don't need it. I don't need an ice bath to prove I'm disciplined. I just need to go do it. You know?
Yeah. I saw a clip of, I'm pretty sure it was Andrew Huberman, and he was talking about how hot cold therapy raises your HGH levels 25% or whatever, and then it was a stitch by Dr. Mike Israetel that was like, no, it doesn't.
Even if it did, acute hormone fluctuations mean absolutely nothing. I mean, absolutely.
So
nothing.
explain that to me, because if I acutely fluctuate my human growth hormone, I'm not just going to grow into a big hulk of a man.
It's consistency, right? It's extended period of time. If you took like if you jabbed yourself with 24 IUs of growth hormone, nothing would really happen. You get probably really puffy, hold some water retention, but you wouldn't grow anything because it takes time for these cellular processes to occur, which means I'm going to say boost your testosterone, all these kind of things. It's like, it's not doing a whole lot. You know, acute hormone fluctuations don't mean anything. It's overall patterns and trends that matter. You know?
Okay. That makes sense to me. Well, I mean, it's the same sort of way that you build muscle with weightlifting. You're not going to necessarily change your physique with one back and arms day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you put together 40, 50, 60 over the course of, 6 or 8 months, then you're probably going to get somewhere.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you got to look at the diurnal. So, like, hormones kind of have a diurnal rhythm to them, right? They fluctuate throughout the day, like testosterone and cortisol and stuff like that. So, it really matters what it's doing, what the trend is looking, not the acute fluctuations or spikes, right?
I see.
You know, just because you see a woman and your testosterone goes up doesn't mean that you're going to turn into Hulk Hogan or look like fucking The Rock, Dwayne Johnson or something, right? It's just not going to happen. So it's like it's not going to happen, you know? It's the long-term stuff that matters.
Okay. So staying on this topic of sort of acute fluctuations in hormones, are there any supplements that are there any natty supplements that would raise people's testosterone?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, there's a way you can artificially, and I'm not that intelligent on this. There's people that are smarter than me, so I'm just kind of taking them at their word, and I know they know what they're talking about. But there's a certain way you can kind of impact iron to affect, SHBG, which would therefore increase total testosterone because there's less bound up or something like that. You can artificially inflate the number, but the testosterone's not doing anything. In fact, it's actually hurting you. And I think it's like people are just obsessed with testosterone. It's like they just love the hormone. They're like, oh yeah, I need testosterone. But again, testosterone levels, really, from a natural level, research shows us that it doesn't do a whole lot for muscle growth from the natural range. As long as you're not hypogonadal, you're not at 100 nanograms per deciliter. If you're in that 500 to 800 range, no difference really. It's only when you go into a supraphysiological range of testosterone, like guys on anabolics, where they have like 3,000, triple 5 times the normal limit, that's when you start to see some benefits. And that's when it starts to get a little crazy. But really that 500, 800, that natural range means very little for muscle growth. It really does. Unless you're hypogonadal, really low at the end of the range. Then it can have some impact. But you see, it doesn't matter all that much as people think. And the testosterone boosting supplements, again, okay, maybe they do. Let's take it. Maybe they do boost testosterone. I mean, I could see maybe if you're deficient in a certain vitamin or mineral or whatever, maybe they could. Or maybe you're taking one that gives you the placebo of stress relief, so then you're less stressed. So that in nature boosts testosterone because of lower cortisol. Yeah. Maybe. But even then, like if you were just taking all these variables out of account, let's say you had someone getting their minerals in every day, they were all perfect on their macro and micronutrients, and they took a supplement, and let's say it increased 50 nanograms per deciliter. That is not doing anything. It's not. You're not going to see any clinically significant difference in that. So I think it's all a waste of money, in my opinion. It really is.
I I am definitely inclined to agree with you just because what's like the quality of life change or the health and fitness change from 50 to 40 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone added on top of your baseline when you're not hypogonadal and you don't need like actual medical attention, right?
Nothing. Yeah, it's literally nothing. Nothing's gonna change. And testosterone depends largely on when you take it, how you're
Hmm.
feeling when you take the sleep before it, how stressed you are that week. So it's a lot of obsession about hormones, man. Too much, in my opinion. Way too much. And I feel like people just need to zoom out, take a step back a little bit, and just focus on general health. And when they do
Yeah.
that, the hormones will change themselves. Let them do what they need to do, man. The hormones are they're gonna be in a good spot usually.
Have you heard of the I guess it's a mental model, the big rocks first? Are you familiar with this?
Oh, I mean, I can assume what it is. Accomplishing the most significant tasks first rather than focus. It's kind of like majoring in the minors, going back to that one,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it, it,
Yeah.
it absolutely is. You basically have this like big jar. You got these three big rocks, a bunch of small pebbles, and some sand. If you put the sand and the small rocks in, you can't fit the big rocks in there. But if you put the big rocks in first, then you can. The sand kind of falls around.
It fills
If you
gaps.
handle
Yeah.
your sleep, hydration, food, and then like just movement, that seems to be a very solid baseline. Like I don't think that many people are handling all four of those. I know that I'm definitely not handling my sleep as well as I should. Are there any things that you do to like really take your sleep to the next level? Are you going red light in the morning? Are you doing any of that crazy shit, or is it just like blackout curtains and you're good?
What I kind of tell my clients is we need to get on a routine. So a lot of people they look at sleep and they don't look at the morning. So a lot of people they think about sleep and they don't
Mm.
look at what they're doing throughout the day. Now, for me, your brain kind of has a checklist of what you do, right? So we kind of keep a checklist, we keep a tally, whether we know or not. We have a checklist of what we do, and if we feel accomplished at that day, then it's easier to go to bed. So the thing I always tell people is instead of focusing so much on what happens at night, focus on what you're doing throughout the day. You got to make sure you're being successful throughout the day, getting these tasks done. Make sure you get some shit checked off your checkbox because then that's going to make it easier to fall asleep. And also, if you're complaining about your inability to fall asleep and you're waking up at like 12 in the afternoon, it's not a good thing. Okay, so we got to fix that too. We got to get on a proper schedule,
Mhm.
proper circadian rhythm, and
Yep.
then also people need to worry about their caffeine intake. So a lot of folks are taking caffeine at 5 p.m. Caffeine's got a long half-life, depends on the individual. I say finish all your caffeine before 3 p.m. Don't take any more after 3 p.m. I don't care how tired you get. Just let your body do its thing because then you're going to interrupt yourself. And then also what happens too is there's a certain time in which we're able to fall asleep. So we kind of, at the end of the night, your frontal lobes are exhausted. Okay. And that's why I always tell people, try not to go in the kitchen late at night because you're just going to muck down some stuff. Okay. It's not going to be hungry at night because then your willpower is gone. So we need to
Right.
reach a point where our willpower is low enough and we're just tired enough where we still have enough willpower to put ourselves in bed and not procrastinate.
Mm.
So for some people, it's like 11 to 12 or something like that. But when you miss that lap, you miss that period, it increases exponentially your ability to fall, your difficulty of falling asleep because you miss that period of, okay, my willpower is low enough because I'm tired now. Okay, this is probably my time to go to bed. But if you try to delay that and push that off, then you lose all control entirely in your frontal lobes. You're like, yeah, let me just fucking scroll, let me relax, stuff like that. And you don't want to go to sleep. So these are all things that we have to consider. And also sleep mask, cold bedroom, creating a cold atmosphere, not using your bed unless you're sleeping, sex and sleep. That's what I say, right? No bed unless you're having some intercourse, you're going to bed. That's it, right? If you want to watch something, go to your couch. And then when you're ready to go to bed, go to bed. Don't have the phone in the bed. When you do that, you associate, oh, the bed, phone time. Not good.
Mm.
And also if you're laying there for like 30 minutes, it's not productive. Okay? If you're laying there for more than 30 minutes, you can't fall asleep, get up, go to a different room, don't use your phone, avoid blue light, sit, collect your thoughts, maybe write something, relax. Because then your brain is going to associate that with staying up.
Right.
Our brain's kind of annoying sometimes. We're like dogs, So you got to view it like that. We're dogs. We got to train ourselves to go to bed.
Yeah.
And those are kind of my key sleeping tips that I usually get to my clients in a very condensed summary of those.
I like I've felt the sleep procrastination sort of thing before. In fact, last night me and my wife were watching Happy Gilmore 2, and we had like 20 minutes left or something, and I was like, I'm tired. I could probably fall asleep right now, but I want to finish this movie and then we'll go to bed. And then finish the movie and I was like, I'm exhausted but I don't want to get into bed, and I want to keep rotting my brain from the inside out.
Yep.
And then we stayed up for like another hour and a half when I could have just gone to bed immediately, and then it's over.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. When you miss that window, it becomes very difficult to get yourself in bed. That's what I will
Yeah,
say.
it seems very counterintuitive, but it actually, like, once you're there, you're like, oh, that's what's going on right now. That makes so much sense. And the whole your brain making associations between restlessness. It's phone time. Let's scroll on the phone when you're in bed, just lying awake. I like the sex and sleep idea. That seems to solve a lot of my problems, or that would seem to solve a lot of my problems.
Yeah, only use the bed for sex and sleep, man. Don't go on the phone in the bed. Don't be using your laptop or something like that because your brain's going to associate it. You got a desk for that. You got a couch. Go to your couch.
Yep.
You know, or sit
There
on
you
the fucking
go.
floor. You know? And you don't go in your bed. I'm telling you, man. Your bed should be for sleep and sex only, man. Keep it. Whatever you do in private, that's your thing. But just, keep it. That's your little area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
absolutely. What are your thoughts on weight loss drugs like Ozempic and things of the like?
I think they can be a very good tool. I've had clients use them. They've been very successful with them. It could be great for gaining momentum, right? People often struggle to lose weight because they don't see results quick enough. It's a craving for, I suppose, quick results. We want something quick, and I get it. I do too. Everyone wants quick results, but at the same time, these people are also having some metabolic dysregulation because of how much fat mass they actually have. Okay. Their hormones aren't exactly. I know. People are going, oh no, they're just calorie deficit. Well, yes, calorie deficit is what causes weight loss. It's the mechanism, right? So it's literally how it works. It's how you win the football game. If you say, yo, I want to score more points than the other team in basketball, well, no shit. How are we going to do that? So we need a strategy. Now, with people that are overweight, there's something going on there. No one gets to 300 pounds because they want to be 300 pounds. Okay, There's something going on there. There's something in their mind, some sort of behavior that we got to change. And genetics and learned patterns can complicate this. And when we combat weight loss is the most difficult thing you can do for someone that's that heavy because we're combating it with learned mechanisms that you've learned since you were a child, whether it's food patterns, whatever. So maybe you were with siblings, you always felt like there was a constant, I guess, fight for food. You were always fighting for food. It was like, oh, I got to eat this really quick or else fucking Joe's going to eat it. He's going to eat the leftovers and I'll be going to bed hungry. So then people like, they don't realize this, but into adulthood, they carry these notions and ideas and they have this constant urgency for food. A lot of my clients are stressed out when they're hungry. It's particularly the overweight ones. They get stressed. And I talk to them, I'm like, hey man, like, what specifically are we stressing about here? Like, what happens if we just go to bed hungry? What's the worst that can happen? And like, oh wait, I guess like nothing really can happen. I'm like, okay, yeah, so where is this coming from? And we kind of dive deep into these patterns and they kind of realize, oh shit, like this is literally my childhood. I was fucking fighting my brothers for food. It was always a competition on who can eat the most and the urgency behind it. I'm like, good, let's eat slower. So changing their behavior is great. Then you have the genetic component of things. Genetics can play a big role. Okay, it's always nature and nurture. They're always in tandem with each other, working somehow in some complex manner. Genetics can complicate weight loss because they can influence your hunger and in the hunger levels that you're experiencing, right? It can make it a lot harder to stay on plan. So GLP-1s can be a good way to combat this by basically working physiologically to inhibit some of those feelings of hunger and basically give you the feeling that you're artificially more full than you are because it delays gastric emptying. Also, it changes your neurochemistry, right? There's actually studies in GLP-1s with addiction, right? People who use them crave less alcohol, crave less nicotine. Pretty important stuff, man. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah. So the way they work in the brain is they basically reduce impulsivity as well. So that urge that you get to have a food, for some of these people, they're like, oh, I need this. They wait for a second. They're like, oh, wait, do I really need, am I hungry right now? So they start to think a little bit more. And that's the miracle behind these drugs. And they're really good. They're really good drugs. However, I think that they should be reserved in a last case scenario only. Once you've exhausted all other options. It's not for influencers trying to look sick on the beach. This is for people that are overweight, that are unhealthy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's something that we should just abuse. I think we should use it sparingly and at a low dose and combine it with behavior change, weightlifting, and lifestyle modification, right? because these are things that can really, really put you on a trajectory towards success and help you. It's like physical therapy. So like taking a pain med so that you can mask the symptoms so that you can do the physical therapy. Like let's say my back hurts, so I take like an NSAID, like meloxicam or something, and I do my PT. Okay, so it's masking the symptoms that are there. As soon as I stop that drug, the symptoms come back, unless I do the physical therapy. So it needs to be combined with some sort of behavior change, cognitive behavioral therapy, something psychologically, some psychological work, some dietitian work, whatever, to truly have a successful weight loss approach. But I think they can be a great tool, man.
I'm on Ozempic so that I can lose the weight, so that I can do the lunges, so that I can continue to lose the weight. That kind of a enabling cycle of betterment, if you will.
Exactly. You're on Ozempic so that you can do the work. Okay, it makes it easier to do the work. And then once you do the work and you have the habits built up, it should be easier from that point on.
JP, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I just heard you say something about how if you're incredibly overweight, you may or may not be unhealthy. Is this true? Because a lot of people go, well, I'm 400 pounds, but I'm fucking healthy. It's like, come on, please, guys, let's be fucking real about this. We got someone who's credible
healthy
here. Let's listen up.
You're completely healthy if you're 400 pounds, man. Completely healthy. There's no health risk. And that's the thing, right? I'm all for acceptance in self-love, right? I think changing from a place of self-love rather than self-hate is always a better, more sustainable strategy long-term. And what people preach is they're like, oh, you got to accept yourself for who you are. Okay, yes. We should accept ourselves. But at the same time, you can accept yourself and still want to improve and get healthier because you love yourself at the same time, right? I can accept my situation, but I don't have to be satisfied with it. I can be motivated to change. And that's the difference here is people view this thing as like, oh, they're trying to empower themselves, but let's empower ourselves through health, right? So sure, okay, we could be fat and somewhat physically capable. We could be overweight and physically. People will be like, I'm fat, but I'm fit or something like that. I'm like, okay, yes, I get that. But your goal should still be to get down to a healthy body composition. Because excess body fat in every single scenario is never, ever, ever good for health. It's not.
Right.
It only coincides with mortality. So if you recognize that and you want to take care of your kids, you want to take care of your mom when you're older, you want to take care of these people, view exercise and nutrition as a way to express love and care for yourself, right? You're caring for yourself because you love who you are and you want the best for yourself. That's what I view it as. Instead of, oh, I hate who I am, I need to starve myself, that's toxic. That doesn't last very long. Okay, you love who you are and you want the best for yourself just like you would want the best for your mom. So that's why you're doing this, because you love who you are and you're truly motivated to become the best version of yourself because you know you can. That is what causes sustainable weight loss, not, oh, I hate myself, like this is why she left me, all this kind of stuff, right? It's just not beneficial in the long term, and people get really psychologically messed up from it and they don't even realize it.
Yeah, I feel like the body positivity movement kind of almost in some cases coincides with stagnation. It's like, well, I love myself so much, why would I ever change? And it's like, what? Yeah. You think you're like 100% fucking can't even ever improve ever? Yeah. Let's be real here, guys. We can all get some more ab striations or whatever, add some more straps onto our lift and then get some wrist supination or whatever. Like we can all improve at least a little bit, and it doesn't mean that you have to hate yourself like you were saying, but it does require it's the idea of being the coach and the player at the same time, where you're like, okay, you're doing good, but let's try this. You're doing good, but let's do right. Let's continue to improve, as opposed to just, well, I love myself and I'm perfect the way I am.
It's too hard. Let me tap out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Exactly. They tap out, and it's complacency, right? It's That's what it is. It's complacency. Arrogance is a breeding ground for complacency, right? It's okay to be confident, but let's not be arrogant here. Let's not be overconfident. Let's not overestimate our health and capabilities. Let's recognize that we can still change. We still have a long way to go, and that's totally fine. You can accept who you are. I'm all for it, man. Go on the beach. You're overweight, go on the beach. Have a good time. Wear the clothes you want to wear. I don't care. Express yourself. Totally fine. At the same time, though, it's okay to love yourself and love who you are and still want to get healthier and better yourself because you love who you are. It's totally fine, man. Not a problem with that. I just think, there is a problem with being overweight. There is. Because it's unhealthy, And I mean, who am I to tell other people what they can and cannot do? But it's just it's a fact. It is. It's unhealthy. Okay. Same way if I said smoking cigarettes is bad. Yes, it is. You can smoke what you want to smoke. You can do what you want to do, but we're not going to sit around and parade around the idea that and entertain it that, okay, smoking cigarettes is the healthiest thing you can do. No, it's not. You shouldn't be smoking cigarettes. It's an objective fact.
That does indeed make sense to me, because if you're, I mean, at the end of the day, you just have more risk of probably all cause mortality if you have
Everything.
X amount of, yeah, exactly, if you have X amount of body fat as opposed to, you know, a lower body fat percentage. And it just seems like, I don't know what it is, man, but it's, I think that America is actually not the most obese country in the world. I think the UK just passed us like a year ago or 2 years ago or something.
I actually heard that too.
But dude, we're neck and neck, and it's not looking good. And a lot of it is like you said, it's the big rocks. You move more, eat a little less, dial in your sleep, and then get a lot of water in.
Yeah. And it isn't easy, but it's simple, right? So it's not easy to do these things. It isn't. And especially for people working long shifts, man. I get it. It's hard. You know, I work 16-hour days. I get it. It's hard for me to go to the gym, and I'm supposedly the guy that coaches people to go to the gym. It's hard for me to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym half the time, right? I'm exhausted. I still go because I got to do it. You know, I got to do it. It's who I am. It's rooted in who I am, and that's the kind of change that I try to make with my clients and making other people, because that's truly what causes sustainable habits and health changes, man. It's not doing the. I think the way I want to explain it is it's doing the mundane, and doing it so much that you don't give yourself an option but to succeed, but to have that outcome. I think Alex Hormozi has a good quote, and I'm going to totally butcher him when I say this, but if you truly want something, right, and if you do it long enough, and you do it hard enough, you're going to give yourself no other option but to succeed, but to surpass competition. It's the repetitions, okay? It's getting it done, doing the ordinary extra. That's really kind of how we achieve success long term. And I think people just they think it's like some extraordinary process they have to do, and that's just not true. It's not.
It's that, or they think that they're for some reason they collapse their timeline and they're like, I'm gonna get, you know, I'm doing this 6-minute abs workout, I'm gonna get abs in 6 minutes, I'm just gonna do this every day for a week. And that probably upsets you more than it upsets me, just because you are an actual fitness coach, and people are probably like, well, actually I want to spot reduce fat, and I want to build my shoulders and get all that right. It doesn't seem to be a lot of the times it doesn't seem to be realistic. Is that true?
Yeah, their goals, they're not really like, okay, yeah, if I'm working with a client and they're fucking 30% body fat overweight, I'm not going to tell them, oh, hey, let's be Zac Efron in Baywatch. No. What are we doing? Let's not be the most shredded person in local LA fitness. Let's get down to like 20% body fat. Let's get healthy first. And then if we want to push past that goal and set a new endeavor and set out to reach a new body composition, let's do it. But be my guest. But first, let's set a realistic goal. Let's not focus on getting abs. Let's focus on just lowering your fucking blood pressure first, pal. Let's get a little healthier. Get off the BP meds. Get off the statins. And then we can focus on whatever you want to do. But people just set these really, really big goals, and they can't stick to them, and they fail. They crash and burn. Yeah. Biggest thing people need to do is set an objective. Okay, have an objective that you want to reach, and make it realistic. It's SMART goals. We know since fucking kindergarten. SMART goals, guys. You know, SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely. Whatever the fuck it is, right? I think that's what it is.
Yes.
And then what you do is you go, okay, I am 35% body fat right now. I am 60 pounds overweight. Let's get to 20 pounds overweight. Got it. Cool. Awesome. Let's do it. And then when we get that goal, we can determine the direction we want to go now. People cannot, if you could see your next step, take that one and then trust the other steps are going to go follow through with that. Because the problem is people look 10 steps ahead. And we don't even know by the time we're at that 9th step that we're actually going to be in the place we want to be. So instead of looking at the 10th step, we don't even know. I mean, you could be asked backward. You could literally be doing the opposite direction at your 10th step. You don't know. So just take the next best step and then let the other ones fall into place as they come along. And people just have a real hard time doing that, and they disappoint themselves drastically. And then a big thing, too, is support system. Have a support team, man, like you and your girlfriend. You know, coach. Have a support system. Have someone to hold you accountable, someone that wants the best for you as well, and tell them about your goals. Okay? And then you got to check in with yourself. And people just... Consistency means nothing if it's consistently shit, right? So some people just keep on doing the same mundane crap, and it's not working for them, but they don't change it. They're like, yeah, it's my third time trying Weight Watchers. Let's try this again and hope it's different. Third time's a charm. Okay, Stacy, if it hasn't worked the past 2 times, it's probably not going to work the third time, right? I mean, come on. Like, let's try something different now.
Right.
So you got to adapt, overcome, rise up, and step up to the occasion and try a new system. So if Weight Watchers isn't working for you, cool, that's fine. There's multiple ways you can lose weight. That means we got to try a different system. Let's utilize something different. You're not going to get to achieve results if the past 3 times you did it fucking failed. What makes you think the 4th time it's going to be different? You know, it's not.
So I've heard this thing. I think it was from Naval Ravikant or something like this. When you put a goal in place that's not, I want to get to X body fat percentage, but it's, I need to work out every day for the next however many days it is, you almost set yourself up for failure, because say it's 30 days or whatever. You get to the 28th day, you've worked out every day, and then you miss the 29th. You have failed. As opposed to saying, well, I strung together 28 days of badassery, and I took one rest day. You're like, no, I said I was going to work out every day, and I didn't work out every day. I have failed the mission that I set out on. Is it similar if you go, I want X% body fat, and you work your way up there, and then you go, well, I didn't get there. Well, I guess not, because that's more of a outcome-based goal as opposed to an inputs-based goal.
Yeah. It's similar in different ways, you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
It goes back to the all or nothing mindset. It's the same thing, right? Oh, I need to do 30 workouts or it's a failure. And people have a really hard time realizing that, hey, man, listen, a little bit of something is better than nothing. If you miss one workout, it doesn't mean you stop doing all the, man, I fucked it up again. I always do this. I always set out to achieve my goals. I can never follow through. What am I doing? I'm such a fucking failure. And they start internalizing this thing deep down. And what they do is then they set out to do it again. And they have this built in their heart. They truly believe now, okay, whenever I try to do this, I fail, and I fail miserably.
Yeah.
What does this do? It reinforces that. Now the next time they have this thing, it's confirmation bias, then they're going to probably fail because they believe that they are. Subconsciously, that's what they believe. And it's rooted within them. So they set these huge goals, they don't attain them, and it reinforces this belief. It's the same way as, okay, I'm going to correlate with relationships. I'll use this idea. So if you have a really antisocial kid, doesn't like going out, right? And he thinks he's ugly, right? He's in high school, maybe he's in his senior year and it's prom and he wants to go ask a girl out, okay? He internalizes that he thinks he's ugly, he thinks he's fat, he thinks he's not good looking, he thinks he's not smart, he thinks he has no redeemable qualities. Then you go, hey man, you just have to be more confident. Okay, well, how do I be more confident? Okay, well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to ask this girl out. Okay, he goes and asks this girl out. Now, what does he believe when he's asking this girl out? I'm not going to get this. I'm not confident. I look like shit. There's pimples on my face right now. I'm fat. I'm overweight. I'm not smart. I have no redeemable qualities. There's nothing good about me as a person. So he goes on this date. All of a sudden on this date, he's going, yeah, I really just don't even know why you went out with me. Like, I don't even like myself. Like, I mean, I can't even believe a girl like you is going out with me. What is that going to do? The girl's going to run away. They don't like that. What the hell? No one likes that. No one wants to be around that kind of person. So then if you try this, but you have these internal beliefs and you try to set out and do it, you're going to fail, and you're going to reinforce this pattern and belief. What people need to do is they need to change their thinking. The only way to do that is doing the impossible for that individual, right? I heard someone say that, but it was good, so I kept it in my dome. But you truly have to do the impossible. And when I say that, I don't mean the Matrix, like dodging bullets. I mean the impossible for what other people can't do. Let's say, like, okay, Justin can do something and I just can't do it. Can't figure it out. Well, I need to figure out what Justin does and I need to do it. So that way I prove to myself, that's one little point I earn, that I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can do these hard things. Right? So it's doing the impossible for you. Things that other people can do that you can't. And it's having these systems in place. I agree, man. Like, the process goals are great. So instead of saying, like, oh, I need to go to the gym X amount of times, it would be focusing on the process, like, okay, let's journal about my food each day or something like that, right? And recognizing that goals are not all or nothing, they're mendable, and having some compassion, coming with a place of compassion and forgiveness, and realizing that, okay, there's a difference between being kind and being nice. Being nice as a coach, if you were to fail and fuck up, like, Justin, it's totally fine. Like, I get it. You can get plastered. It's fine. Like, I know you're dealing with a hard time. That's nice, right? Being kind, and you've seen me do this. It's like, being kind, be like, hey man, Justin, I know you're dealing with some work stress right now. I know you're kind of struggling with the gym. Totally understand that, brother. That being said, I know 3 months ago what you told me is we want to get lean, we want to get in shape, and you want to do this because one, you wanted to be a little bit happier in your relationship with yourself, want to be more content. Two, you wanted to feel healthy and live a long life. So what we're doing right now is not going to help you get that goal. So I understand you're stressed out, but at the same time, we need to figure out what's going on here so we can make adjustments and make sure we're actually on target with our goals. Does that sound good? Bang. So there's a difference between those two approaches, right? I'm not just accepting and letting you fail. I'm there. I'm saying, okay, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not blaming you here. You're going through a lot, but let's figure something out. Let's because if we keep going down this path, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. Are you familiar with gold medalist syndrome?
I'm not. Enlighten me.
People that work their entire lives for, say, swimming or whatever it is, some sort of sport, or just something in general. Maybe it's a promotion at your job. You've been working for 20 years just practicing swimming, and you finally get the gold medal. You're like, nice. What now? Like, what do we do now? I've spent 20 years trying to do this thing. I've done it. Where's the next mountain? Like, I don't know where to point my sort of desire anymore. So a lot of people that win the lottery do this in a similar way. Like, their entire lives they've been going to work for money. Then they get gifted $167 million or whatever. And then you're like, oh, so there goes all my desires. Like, I don't really want for anything anymore. Like, I don't have anything to strive for. So if you are, I love what you said about SMART goals, dude. It reminded me of my kindergarten and first grade experience. Shout out to Mrs. Johnson. But I do agree with that, because if you sort of set not an easier goal per se, but one that is closer in your time horizon. It's not a 10-year long goal, and you can do that. But if you're like, I want to log my food every day this week. I want to journal my food this week. It's like, cool. And you just keep kind of building up this evidence that you can do this, and you just keep going and going and going and going and going and going. Right?
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense to me. Exactly.
One day at a time. One day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Stop looking at the thing 10 steps on the road when you haven't even taken the first step. Oh, what do I do when?
There you go.
Oh my God, I want to post on social media. But what do I do when someone reaches out to me to buy my product or service? And what do I do if someone? Stop! You haven't even sold a product. What are you thinking? Okay, yeah, I want to build my brand. I want to build my social media. I want to start coaching. But what do I do if someone reaches out to me for coaching? I don't have any system set up. Stop! You don't even have your first client. Stop worrying about what's going to happen when you have 10.
Yeah.
Stop it. Do one. Do it. Learn. Repeat. And that's what I tell people. And I do know gold medalist syndrome. I just didn't know the word for it. But yeah, what you're describing me, I am familiar with. And it all kind of stems from the idea of purpose, right? You're setting yourself up for this objective for 20-something years. You feel like this is your purpose. This is what you were made to do. It's what you're born to do. And once you achieve this, there's nothing left. And it's truly a devastating feeling for most people. And ultimately, it's hard. It really is hard to grapple with. And the thing behind it is people when you only get your value from something external, based on some external accomplishment, when you achieve that, where's next? Well, that's why for me, I'm always after constant improvement, right? And it does come back to the next mountain to conquer, but there's always a new goal. There's always a new goal to set out, and there's always a new value to seek out.
Right.
So it's important that people kind of keep in mind. I mean, the idea of purpose is hard, right? Because we can ask, what is your purpose? Oh, I want to help people. Okay, well, what if no one else existed? What's your purpose then? Oh, I don't know, right? I don't know what my purpose is. All of a sudden, your purpose is evaporated into thin air. You don't even know what it is. So the idea of purpose is extremely hard for people to grapple with, and no one knows that. I don't know my fucking purpose. I could say, yeah, I love helping people. Like, I do feel like okay, well, in isolation, what if there's no people to help? What does your purpose become then? Well, I guess, I don't know. Well, okay, well, my purpose is to live, right? That's what you're here to do. You're here to live. That's what I think. Your purpose in this life is to live life, experience it, enjoy the fruits of your labor, work, experience it, experience all the chapters, the ups, downs, the riffraffs. That's your purpose, truly, is experiencing life. Because when you take everything out, what else is there? There's nothing. It is experience. That's it. So if you take everything out of the equation, if you take other people, external factors, whatever, the purpose of life is to experience life. That's my opinion, right? And when you have that mindset, I feel like you can kind of escape that gold medalist syndrome, because then you're like, okay, well, my purpose now is just to experience experience these achievements, and then you view, okay, I'm down right now because I don't have a goal, but this is part of the life experience, and I'm going to trust in the next step. You know,
That was beautiful, man. That
I'm
was
philosophical today, man. Socrates.
Yeah,
over here,
bro.
You know?
That
Fitness
was
coach,
fucking
mindset
great.
coach, doing everything.
Are you familiar with the gap and the gain, the Dan Sullivan sort of framework?
Enlighten me again, yeah. I mean, I probably
It's-
have heard of it. I just don't know the names.
It's
of these things.
super super simple. There's basically you, everything you've done in the past, and then your goal here. A lot of people live in the gap between you and your goal. They go, well, I'm still so far away from being, 215 pounds and jacked as fuck. But not a lot of people live in the gain, which is you and what you have done. This is all that you have gained, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look back and you go, well, I was 120 pounds 40 weeks ago, and now I'm 170, and I've gained all this muscle. I don't care about that. I'm going to worry about what I still have to make up for, right? And, humans we're problem-solving machines. We're supposed to look for issues within our environment so that we can fix them and all that kind of stuff. But if you recognize this and you take time to go, oh, hey, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit here because I actually did something pretty cool. I still have work to do, and that's, I can see that, but I've done something quite interesting here. Let's go, me. It gives you the sort of like you were talking about, the intrinsic motivation to be like, yeah, I'm putting a fire under my own ass here. Let's go.
Exactly,
Let's do it. We've gone all this way. We're gonna fucking crush it. I do have a question for you around the fitness influencer world. I've been seeing a lot of this stuff that's like, are you natty or not? A lot of people are concerned about whether or not X person is on steroids. How transparent do you think the social media fitness industry is on average when it comes to performance enhancing drugs, steroids, things like this? Do you think it's mostly people are being truthful?
No, not at all.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, whether it's lying about the dosages people are taking and whatnot, and I get it. It is when it's a lose-lose situation, right? If you lie about it, and then you're misleading. If you be honest about it, you're encouraging people to take it. So it truly is a sensitive topic to kind of bring up, right? But you be honest about it, you're promoting it in a sense. If you lie about it, then you're misleading people, believing they can achieve something that they can't achieve. It's hard. It really is. It's a tough concept to grasp. I really don't know which one would be better. It depends on how it's done. And I guess if you aren't just dodging the question sometimes is probably the best route you can go, because then you're just not even talking about it. You're not promoting it. You're not talking about it. And I guess that's what sometimes people do, is they just dodge it. Not necessarily fake natties, but when they get asked, just like, yeah, they just don't talk about it, right? And I think that's like, okay, because people will lie about their dosages they're on. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm only on TRT. No, you're not. You're on a little bit of TRT, a little bit of Tren, a little bit of Anavar, Winstrol, a couple other things in GH, all these different things, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm just on TRT. And I get it. Like I do. I understand, because there's a huge, people judge. They're very judgy, okay? And they're afraid it's going to harm their rep. I do. So I get it, right? And I think, yes, on the most part, people are unhonest about it.
That's a really interesting perspective. I've never really thought about it from the lens of, it doesn't really matter what I say about this. It's a lose-lose situation. Either I'm lying and I'm being, dishonest, or I'm basically inviting people to, hey, if you want to look like me, take X amount of compounds in this sort of, rhythm. That's a really interesting perspective. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's damaging, for sure.
All right, let's do a little speed round. I got a few fast questions. We'll wrap this up here in just a second. But these I think you're gonna like these. Would you rather be a carnivore or a vegan?
Oh boy. That's tough, man. It's really tough. I see it off of taste buds. I love meat, man. I can eat meat all day, but at the same time, the negative health side effects of carnivore are far worse than being vegan, right? That's the tough thing, because you can always get fortified foods. I'm wondering, carnivore, like meat only. Supplements.
Yeah. Do you take multivitamin?
I guess I do a carnivore. Maybe I take a fiber supplement.
Okay.
Maybe,
Oh
maybe
yeah,
I
that
take
would make sense. That would make
I
sense.
take some psyllium husk or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. Get some
Okay,
fiber in
gotcha.
there.
Next question: does intermittent fasting actually work?
Depends. You know, I mean, the mindset behind it is you're shortening that eating window, right? So like you're shortening the window that you have to eat. But for me, when I realize when I don't eat breakfast, I just get hungrier later in the day, and I get ravenous, and I like to eat the whole fucking cabinet. So it depends on the person, right? Yeah, I mean, for me, dude, it just makes me hungry at night. I mean, that's what it works. But for some others, they're like, yeah, it makes me like less hungry. For me though, I don't like it. You know, I don't really use that much with clients unless they really are adamant on it. It's worked for them in the past, but again, if they were with me and it worked for them in the past, then why are we having to do it again? Because it wasn't sustainable, right? It didn't make a behavior change. For I just think long term, not eating for like half the day is probably not a sustainable strategy to maintain. Like long term, you'll find like immediately when people go on vacation, that immediately goes out the window. It's not a sustainable strategy. So I'm not a huge fan of it. There's tons of ways you can lose weight, but I don't think it's the. I mean, in my opinion, this is all my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of the concept.
So it's not this sort of magical formula where if you don't eat for 12 hours, somehow you're burning more fat. It's literally just I'm constricting the time frame for which I can intake calories. That's
you'd
why
be
you
using
tend
more
to lose
energy.
weight.
You'd be using more energy from fat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
At the same time, it wouldn't matter because I mean, I guess I can explain it like this: if you have a bank account, right, and you spend, so you go like negative in it, and you fill it up anyway. Net, it's no difference. You see this in the literature too on carbohydrate diets, intermittent fasting, whatever. It's all calorie. It comes down to the calorie because you're putting that energy back in the system anyway. So it doesn't matter whether you're using fat on your body or not. Well, it's the long-term energy deficit that matters. So it doesn't matter the eating window as much or anything like that. It's all overstated.
It's just restricting calories, and that tends to bring the Okay, that makes sense. Something similar to this. What's your opinion on starvation mode, which is people eating more calories and then saying that they lose weight?
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Now, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense because we have a very unethical experiment in the 1900s, late 1900s or mid, I'm not sure. I think late. But it was a Minnesota starvation experiment where they took a bunch of men of all sorts of types. They basically starved them, made them walk miles, 22 miles a week or something like that. They made them eat a very, very low calorie diet, like 1,600 calories or something like that. Very low number. It's in the thousands, I think upper thousands. And they lost a ton of weight. And they monitored their psychological state, became very food obsessive. They all had binge eating problems when they came back, hyper obsessive, hyperfixations on food, exhibiting systems like overfeeding themselves, 10,000 calorie days for like 2-week periods, all this stuff. So it kind of goes to show you that really it's an energy kind of thing, right? So it all boils on energy. And there's obviously conditions too that can, like diseased fat that isn't going to come off without surgery, but that's not the same thing. Like it's completely different. Like diseased fat is just it's different than actual fat tissue or adipose tissue. But really, no. You know, yes, you can slow down your metabolism, quote unquote, but that's largely in part of being a smaller human being. So think about it like this: if I swap out the engine and I get a smaller engine, it's going to take less fuel. Okay. Yeah. Same thing. If I'm a V10, 400-pound guy, it's a lot more fuel that's got to go in there to maintain my body weight, right? If I'm 200 pounds, a lot less fuel to maintain that body weight. So you're going to require less calories. And yes, okay, maybe if you're doing a hyper restrictive bodybuilding prep diet, there might be some metabolic slowdown in like thyroid hormones and stuff, but that's not going to happen to the average Joe Schmo. It's not.
So the idea of starvation mode comes from an early 1900s study where they starved a bunch of bros in Minnesota.
That's actually the thing that's the idea of starvation mode that counteracts that, right? Because starvation mode is like metabolic slowdown. I see. Yeah, like you can eat very little calories and you won't lose weight because your body tries to preserve itself, which just isn't true. Because in the late 1900s, they did an unethical experiment that wouldn't be legal today. They took a bunch of men, starved them, made them go for like 22 miles a week, and they just lost so much weight. They came in anorexic. It was like, they looked like fucking malnourished. It was bad. So it just kind of goes to show you that. Yeah.
I mean, if starvation mode existed, why are people dying of starvation?
right? I
Right.
mean,
That
let's call up the
that doesn't
anorexic
really.
clinics, man. Let's just tell them, yeah, so you just gotta not feed them. If you don't feed them, their body will go into starvation mode, and it'll just protect them. You know, it's not
They'll
gonna.
just keep gaining weight.
They'll
On,
gain
less
weight in
calories.
spite of not eating. They'll just gain weight. Nice.
It's ridiculous. It's
Right.
ridiculous. All right, here we go. Do women actually prefer a dad bod?
Oh, okay. This is a good one. I guess it depends on their preferences, right? I mean, some individuals have those. They have those fetishes, and that's fine with me. You know, you can like who you want to like. Some people like the fluffier guys. Some people like the more muscular guys. But I do think when people are referring to a dad bod, quote unquote, they're not really referring to an out of shape 40-year-old. They're referring to someone who has a previous athletic history. They have some muscle built up, maybe even slight ab definition, but they just like they have a few beers on the weekend. Okay, that's usually what they're referring to, and that I kind of understand. If you're telling me like overweight and fat, that's complete BS. You know, I just think too, it's like, okay, yes, there's a certain point of being lean to which it kind of gets a little gross, gets a little scary, right? But I think for the most part, people just there's a definition of dad bod that people get misconstrued. I was like, yeah, well, women like this. Nah, they like muscular and not as lean. You look like a Michelin man over there, but you know, you don't really look like the dad bod they're looking for, pal. You look more like a fat bod, but you know.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It looks like you have previous history of some sort of athletics or you lift weights, but it's just you have some fat on your body. You're strong, you're probably fast, but you have fat on your body. That's
exactly
right. And you're not obese. It's just you're not show lean. You're not stage ready, right? So that is interesting. Here's one that's actually very, very interesting. I'm excited to hear your take on this. So we've all seen the videos on Instagram, TikTok, all this shit of dudes approaching ladies at the gym, ladies freaking out, all this stuff. What is the proper way to approach a woman at a gym? Because everybody's fucking terrified of it right now.
Oh boy. That's hard. So basically, you just kind of run up to her and grab her, and you just like walk up, you know. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let me see. I don't know, man. I feel like approaching someone in the gym is a difficult task for sure. It's hard without becoming a creep, you know. Some guys are like, you know, they're doing this with their hands, they're like eyeing them down across the gym. It's hard, you know, because I mean, I feel for it. Some women just don't want to be approached in the gym, which you got to respect that as well. But I would say you don't want to start saying, "Hey, look, you look beautiful today." Looks a little weird. It's hard. It's always hard. I think the right way to do it would be, first off, is she kind of interested in you? Are you gauging that across the gym? Now, don't be narcissistic, but is she kind of giving you side glances, right? You want to shoot the shot, shoot it, but just kind of don't go straight into the deep end. Have an interaction with her first, like, you know, talk to her a little bit. Don't go like, hey, you want to go out to the movies? No. First, have that interaction. Wave at her. Wave at her a couple times. Not in a creepy way. Not in like a clown way, but a nice way. Like just like a little head nod.
Not clown way.
Yeah, right? Not like the fucking Pennywise. Not in that way. Like you're waving creepy, right? But just like give her a little wave, a little head nod, calm head nod. And then over time, maybe she'll head nod back. And then from there, it's a little less intimidating because she's already kind of interacted with you. You're not going to kind of like get her uncomfortable. Then you can kind of go up and have a conversation. But at the same time, be respectful, man. Like some guys are just weird. You just have a conversation with a person. You know?
So be
We're
a friendly, normal guy. Don't be a weirdo guy.
Yeah, don't be weirdo. Don't take pictures of girls in the gym. Don't be weird on the Stairmaster, like,
bro,
trying to look or something. So weird.
Fucking absurd. I've
seen people do that. It's disgusting. So weird.
Will getting ripped actually make you happy?
No. No. I think, okay, well, yes, it can increase your life satisfaction because when we look at the extreme opposite side of the spectrum, being overweight, people are just unhappy because of hormone, all this kind of stuff is going on. But yeah, okay, so being lean can increase your life satisfaction and quality of life. Yes. However, at the same time, the insecurities that lie there, right? Some people are extremely insecure, and you see this in like bodybuilders and stuff, are still there. You know, the insecurities, the fear of abandonment, all that kind of stuff is still there. It's still lingering, and you expect getting lean to fix these things for you. It won't do that. It's not going to do that. So you got to heal along the way. And that's why I always say, start from a place of love, not from hate. Not starting because you want to prove people wrong. Start because you want to prove yourself right, you know, because you want to achieve something that is good for you in the long term. Self-love. And I think, yes, if you do it that way, then yeah. But if you start like, yeah, I feel like shit, I'm doing this because my girlfriend cheated on me, that's not good. And then you're going to do it from a place of hate, resentment, bitter, you get cold. It's not a good idea.
Right. So it definitely helps. It is conducive to happiness, but if you have nothing else and you're just ripped, you're probably not going to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're cold and bitter, you're cold and bitter. You know, there's nothing you can do about that.
You go.
You got to change your mindset, your perspective.
Absolutely. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Take a breath. You know? Take a breath. Relax. You're going to be all right. You know, I think when I was younger, I just had a lot of stress. I'm still stressed. I always had stress, but it was always like, what's my purpose? Why am I doing this right now? I don't even know where I belong in this life. So I was trying to find that. And I was looking for it in places where I couldn't find it. You know, and I was really worried all the time about what was I going to do with the rest of my life? Like what would I achieve? You know, what's the next thing I got to seek out? The next accomplishment, right? And it just led me down a miserable road of being dissatisfied, right? Self-dissatisfaction, lack of purpose, not really understanding why I was even here. You know, it's like, what am I doing here? Like, what is the purpose of all of this? You know, and it was dealing with these thoughts at a young age, and it was all a little overwhelming too. It was stressful, not knowing what to do, not knowing who to talk to about these things, just being hard on myself, you know. And I would just say, give yourself a little bit of compassion, a little bit of understanding, right? I would tell that kid, hey, you can be all right, right? You're gonna be okay. You'll figure it out. Can you see your next step? I was looking 10 steps above down the road. Didn't even know where I would go, you know? Oh, what am I going to do when this happens? Just, hey, can you see your next step?
Keep moving forward, brother.
Just keep moving. Take that step. And that's what I would tell myself, truly, because, you know, we all go through hard shit. I had some pretty rough times, and I think the cause of that was the exact question. What is my purpose? What am I doing here? What do I want to do? I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. I look around me. I see people in this minimum wage environment that I was in doing these things. I'm like, this is not where I belong. I don't want to do this, right? Getting like a 4.0 GPA and stuff, just kind of shrugging it off the shoulders, like, it's whatever. You know, 4.2, graduating, it's like, whatever, who cares? What's the next thing? I would tell myself, slow down a little bit, okay? Embellish, kind of enjoy the process. Take part in the process of getting to where you want to be, you know, rather than hyperfixating on all the things that are going wrong or all the things you haven't figured out yet. Celebrate what you have figured out, you know, and that's what I tell myself. Just slow down.
Where can our audience go to learn more about you, follow you, engage with you on social media or something like this?
You can go to JP Lifts Weight on Instagram, and you can see me make some silly videos, man. You know, you can see me make some silly videos on Instagram, and I try to keep it comedy, lighthearted, but I also try to provide value with each video I post because I feel like that's what it's here to do, right?
This is solid.
I want to ask you a question.
Go for it.
Prior to jumping off. So we've been working with each other, I think, 4 months now? 5 months? What is the most, I just want to ask you, just be honest, straight up here. I guess, what is the most significant thing you feel like you've gotten out of our experience together?
I mean, of course, like workout plan for sure, but like that's I would say the most significant thing is the idea of identity-based habits, becoming the person who does the things that you want to do as opposed to forcing yourself to do them, becoming the person who does them, sort of integrating that into your identity. That was a really interesting idea for me, and it's helped a lot. I've missed like 3 workouts in the past 2 months or something, so that helped. That helped a whole bunch.
Aside from the bender in China, but or Japan.
We didn't do good in Asia. There's a lot of beers, but other than that, man, I mean, identity-based habits, massive mindset shift around food. The hunger scale was fucking groundbreaking for me.
Oh yeah.
because you were like, dude, you don't need to like hurt yourself every time you eat. And I'm like, what do you mean?
You don't gotta eat till you pop, you know?
Exactly, bro. You're like, eat till a 6. Eat till a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. And I'm like, okay. And I've been doing that the past few days, and I'm like, I feel good. I feel fast. I feel, I feel ready to
Agile,
go,
yeah.
man. So
Ready to get up in
I really
pounds.
appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Anybody
Yeah.
that wants to work with Coach JP, I'll put a link in the do you have a website?
It is. It's just kind of dusty. It's kind of bad. But I can send it to you. I can send it to you. In,
I'll throw a link to his website in the description. Anybody that wants to work with him, I highly recommend it. He's best fitness coach I've ever worked with. Fucking blew me away. He gives you all the things you need to succeed and nothing you don't. So thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.